Okay, fifth graders, this is our Unit 8 assessment. I will read the passage to you, and then you will go ahead and answer the questions that follow. So the story, we're only reading one story. It's called The Selkie. Long ago, a fisherman lived with his two small boys. His wife had died 2 years earlier, yet he still longed against all hope for her return. Each day, the lonely fisherman went to sea in his boat, where he spent long hours alone upon the water. Often, the heads of seals would appear in the distance, for many seals lived in the waters near his home. But they always watched the fisherman silently and made no audible sound. One day, when the fisherman was nearly home, he sensed that something was watching him. He looked around, expecting to see a seal, and was shocked to spy a beautiful woman bobbing in the water near the rocks. Quickly he rowed towards her, shouting a hello. In response, an animal-like sound, almost a growl, came from her mouth. She seemed to want to return to a nearby rocky area and was startled by how fast the fisherman rowed. As she began to swim to the nearby rocks, the fisherman cut off her passage. Then he began speaking sweetly to her, offering her a ride in his boat and a trip to land. The woman never answered him, but after some time she climbed into the boat, and the two fell almost immediately in love. Before long, they became husband and wife. As the months passed, the fisherman's two boys came to love their new mother, and she came to love them. And so the family had great joy together. But even when they were most joyful, she would often look longingly to the sea. Its voice was like a magnet, always calling her. She longed to respond. As the years passed and the boys grew, they slowly began to understand and grow more sensitive to their mother's need for the watery world around them. So one day they guided her to a place beyond the barn where a suit of dark brown skin had lain hidden like a forbidden treasure for many years. They knew their father must have found it on the rocks that day, long ago, when he first met their mother. Now, with hearts both joyful and sorrowful, they pointed it out to her. She shouted with joy and put it on. Instantly, like magic, she was transformed from a woman to a selkie, a creature half human and half seal. Then, with tearful eyes, she hugged the boys and returned to the sea. Crying, too, they watched her disappear into the waters of her rightful home. When their father returned from the sea that day, he knew right away what happened. He was sad but also proud of his boys for the choice they had made. For the rest of their lives, they would remember the happy times they had spent with the selkie from the sea. Okay, now you're going to answer questions 1 through 8. Question 1 says, which are these key events in the story? Select two answers. Is it A, the fisherman longed for his wife? B, seals watched the fisherman as he fished? C, the fisherman shouted hello to a woman? D, the fisherman offered a ride to the woman? E, the man and woman got married? Or F, the boys showed the woman the hidden suit? Which of these are key events in the story? Select two answers. Number 2, which sentence belongs in a summary of key events? A, the boy's mother had died 2 years earlier. B, the seals watched the fisherman silently. C, the suit behind the barn was brown. Or D, the selkie returned to the sea. Number 3, in paragraph 2, the word audible comes from a root word that means A, to hear, B, to see, C, to go, or D, to shape. So you'll have to look back at paragraph 2. Read paragraph 3. Find 2 sentences that support the inference that there is something unusual about the woman in the water. Underline the sentence you choose. Remember, inference is the text doesn't exactly say it, but when you read it in your mind, you could figure out or you think that something happened. So here's paragraph 3. One day, when the fisherman was nearly home, he sensed that someone was watching him. He looked around, expecting to see a seal, and was shocked to spy a beautiful woman bobbing in the water near the rocks. Quickly he rowed towards her, shouting a hello. In response, an animal-like sound, almost a growl, came from her mouth. She seemed to want to return to a nearby rocky area and was startled by how fast the fisherman rowed. As she began to swim to the nearby rocks, the fisherman cut off her passage. Then he began speaking sweetly to her, offering her a ride in his boat and a trip to the land. The woman never answered him, but after some time she climbed into the boat, and the two fell almost immediately in love. Before long they became husband and wife. So which 2 sentences could you infer that there is something unusual, not right, about the woman in the water? Okay, number 5. Read the sentence from paragraph 4. Its voice was like a magnet, always calling her, and she longed to respond. What does the simile in this sentence mean? So what does the figurative language in this sentence mean? The woman heard voices in her head. The sea wanted to punish the woman for leaving. The woman attracted men to her. Or D, the sea had great power over the woman. Number 6, read this sentence from paragraph 5. So one day they guided her to a place beyond the barn where a suit of dark brown skin had lain hidden for a forbidden treasure, like a forbidden treasure for many years. What does the simile in this sentence suggest about the suit? So what does the simile, the figurative language, suggest about the suit? A, it's dirty and worn from the effects of the weather. B, the fisherman had buried the suit behind the barn. C, it had great value but was supposed to stay hidden. Or D, it is the skin of a seal that must be returned to the sea. In paragraph 5, what does the word sensitive mean? Is it A, B, C, or D? And then you're going to do the constructed response for number 8.